Welcome, or welcome back as the case may be, to the Maryland Injury Law Advisor video series. I'm your host, Maryland Accident and Injury Lawyer Phil Santamaria. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about truck accidents in Maryland. Truck accidents can involve a wide variety of trucks, ranging from small trucks, such as pickups and panel trucks, through medium-sized trucks, like box trucks, to the large, heavy vehicles, such as tractor trailers, tankers, car carriers, and the like. Vehicles that weigh tens of thousands of pounds. If you have been injured in an accident in Maryland involving a truck, there are certain parts of the Maryland law that you need to know to figure out whether you have a claim for damages arising out of that accident. The first thing that you need to know is that you have to be able to prove what lawyers call liability. That is the who caused the accident question. Liability is technically called negligence, and negligence means carelessness. The cause of the truck accident might, for example, be simple driver error by the truck driver. Perhaps he or she was driving too fast, or was inattentive, or made an unsafe lane change, or an unsafe turn. These can all be a basis for a finding of negligence. On the other hand, the cause may be a vehicle defect, such as brakes that are inadequate, or bad tires. There can be problems with the driver that are the cause of the accident. Perhaps the driver was under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or simply fatigued from driving too many hours. To be able to determine whether there is a good, strong claim for damages under Maryland law, you must be familiar with both Maryland law and federal law that governs these matters. And there are also regulations, in addition to the laws themselves, implementing regulations both in the state and federally. These regulations concern a number of things, including vehicle maintenance requirements, weight limits and overloading, driver training, and something called hours of service rules, which limit the amount of time that drivers can drive. If you can prove some form of negligence, you probably have a good claim under Maryland law, but you have to also be aware that Maryland has a very anachronistic old rule called contributory negligence. It means that even if the truck driver was negligent, if you were also negligent in even the slightest degree, your claim is completely wiped out by this rule. Because proving liability is the first requirement of good claim of this kind, it's critically important that you or your representative begin an investigation of what has happened as soon as possible. Investigation includes such things as monitoring and getting copies of investigative reports done by police agencies, but it's more than that. You should, for example, try to determine whether there's any video of the accident. With more and more video being done, it's possible. Perhaps some kind of a traffic camera witnessed the accident. Perhaps there was some kind of a bus or something like that that has an on-board camera that recorded the accident. Perhaps a security camera from a nearby business happened to also record the accident. These things have to be determined whether they exist and then preserved if they do. Beyond that, there is a tremendous amount of information that is available through the trucks, and so attempts have to be made to make sure that that evidence is preserved and doesn't disappear. The kinds of things I'm talking about are driver logs, for example, that are required to be kept. The so-called black boxes that many trucks have these days. These devices record such things as vehicle speed and applications of the brakes, and those can often be the keys to determining what happened and who was at fault. Many trucks now have onboard cameras, dash cameras, and they're programmed to retain video of a certain period of time before and after a crash. Again, these can be a key to determining exactly what happened. There may be onboard computer data that needs to be preserved, GPS information, driver cell phone logs, any number of things. Because it is so important to get these things preserved, I think that this is a type of case that is not one that you can handle yourself. If you've been seriously injured in a truck accident in Maryland, my advice is that you should hire a lawyer, and because of the need for a prompt and effective investigation, as I've been describing, you should hire that lawyer as soon as possible. You really can't move too quickly in this type of a case, in my opinion. If you're able to prove liability, then you're entitled to recover damages. Damages normally include compensation for your financial losses, the cost of your treatment, and also any loss of income. And you can recover these things not only as to past losses of income or medical bills, but if you have a permanent injury, you can also recover for future losses of that kind. You can also recover non-monetary, it's a horribly neutral word, types of losses. A lot of people call this pain and suffering, and it basically means you can be compensated for everything you've had to go through as a result of the accident that wasn't your fault. Well, that's a summary of truck accidents in Maryland and the law that applies to them. If you think that there's valuable information in this video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. If you have questions or comments, put them in the comment box below. If you'd like to talk to me about a truck accident situation, or frankly about anything concerning Maryland accident and injury law, call me anytime at my law firm, the Santa Maria Law Center, where we care, we listen, and we get results. Thanks for watching.